learn about this phishing attack demonstration and to get the login and password of maybe a Facebook account or any web interface, any login form. I'm going to work on this. Actually, there are several methods one can use to perform phishing attack. Several methods. One common method is for you to create a phishing page. Phishing just means it's a kind of attack where you create a fake, let me call it a fake page. For example, you can create a fake page looking like Facebook login page and trick your end users or anybody you want to sign in. You can trick the person to sign in using that your page. And when the person signs in, you then get the password and the username. Everything the person has inputted, the way you specified it in your code. You then get the password and the username. So I'm going to try and launch that attack now before going into the other phishing attacks. So let's try to see how we can do phishing attack on a Facebook account. I'm trying to open a mobile Facebook. Let's see how the page looks like, because we are going to recreate that page and use it for a phishing attack. So, okay, this is my Facebook profile. Let me log in. Let me log out. Sorry. Okay, log in to another account. Okay, this is the page. The page, right? This is the page. We are going to recreate this page, then use it as a phishing attack. To recreate this page is very easy. You can just, any page at all, you can just right click on it, take view page source. This is the code on the page. For example, I copied this. I've copied this. And actually go to a text file and paste it there. Then open it using my browser. Paste it as, save it as .html. Then open it using your browser. You see the same Facebook page. So let me do this. Let me save it somewhere. Okay, I'm going to save it as index.php. I'm going to save it in this file. that same code I copied. Let me show you what I'm saying. Let me use leaf pad because of the size. Save it. You can save it as .html or .php, but I prefer PHP because I'm going to write the script in PHP also to work with it. Okay, this is the code. You see, not doctor, everything you see here is still on the Facebook page. Everything is there. So you just copy and paste. This is the code. Secondly, okay, let's open this and see what happens. Let's open this. I have my local host here. Don't this is I just want to start my server. I'm coming to this. My server is not starting. Okay. Let me go to my browser. I'm going to navigate to where this file is. This my file. This index of PHP. I'm going to navigate to it. And if you're navigating to it, if you're on your browser already and you type localhost, it's going to navigate to this directory. You just type localhost on your browser to open your local server. It's going to navigate to this directory automatically. And if you type localhost/Facebook, it's going to open the index file of this folder. Index file is, if you name any file index and you open on your browser, the folder name is going to locate this file index.php. So let's go to our browser, type localhost. I'm trying to navigate to that that code I just copied from Facebook. Facebook is the name of that my folder. I can as well write index.php, but even if I don't write it, normally it's supposed to navigate to that index.php even without it. So if you look at the URL here, look at this URL. It's telling you this is not a real Facebook site, right? It's telling you this page you are seeing here is located on my system, on my computer. That's why you see it like this, but I've cloned the page. Username, password, there's no difference if you look at it. Let me open the real Facebook page so that we can see. Look at it. This is the real Facebook page. Look at the URL. It's different. Mine. And then look at mine. URL 2 is different. So, but this is my clone page. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a phishing script. This script is actually very, very short. If you can't code it, you can just copy it. But anytime you learn PHP, you understand better. It's very, very short. So this is my script, parent script. I just coded this. I can via it. Let's script. Yeah, look at it. It's very short. Very short. This is what actually does the magic behind phishing. Very short. This code, these two tags, this tag you see here and this other one, It's the opening tag and closing tag for PHP when coding in PHP. This is a comment in PHP. This line is a comment in PHP. This header, this line you see here, I'm trying to tell this file that anytime it is called and enter is pressed, it should redirect to this URL you see inside here, m.facebook.com. It should redirect to this. Anytime I call this file, after performing anything you want to perform, redirect to this header. You will know very soon, you know why I'm redirecting to this header. Now, this is a comment. Open the text file in writing mode. So this is a short code I coded. Very easy if you have done PHP. And even if you have not done PHP, it's still easy. File, create a file and open it called parent-hack.txt. .txt means .text. It's a text file. Then I'm using this now to get all the values that will be entered in the form. If you are into web development, you will understand when you see post and get, underscore post and underscore get. So with time you understand this, but it's just very short. You can actually copy this and make use of it, or copy it and learn it. First of all, it's going to collect in that form, this Facebook form is going to collect this value and also collect any value entered here and store it in that file it created, or in that file it opened this file, this parents.txt. This is what it is doing. Collect the variable, put an equal to, collect the value. So it's just the variable, equal to, and the value. That's what we need. After that, it's going to close the file. I don't want to explain much on this short code because we are still into PHP. You can actually learn it before we get into PHP actually. So if you've coded this short code, save it on a different file too and name it .php, anything .php. Okay. Okay. So we can create a text file. You can create a text file. If you check this code, we are telling you, or we are telling it to create, open this file called parents-hack.txt, to open it, so you can as well create it in that same folder. Let's create it so that our code will open it and write something inside. So I created it here already, but I can delete it. Let me delete it. Okay. I just want to make sure I copy the name so that I don't make mistakes. If the file name is wrong, the program is not going to see that file. Okay. I use touch to create it. We don't need to open it, it doesn't matter. So if we check, we have the file there. Okay. So we can go back to our index.php, the code which we copied from Facebook, and go back there to modify something in it. Leave pad. Let's go back there. We are going to enter this file, this code, and use and put this our hacking script, parent script, this our hacking script in it, such that if you click the login button, you should first of all look for this our script, and execute it before going ahead. So let's open it. If you are into web development still, you understand that anywhere you see something like let me open another tab. Anywhere you see something like action equal, that means you are trying to tell your browser or your code that anytime you click, it always comes in the form like a login form. Anytime you click on action, what happens when you click? The action should be do this. The action should be do this. So we're going to let this our Facebook code now. This is the code we copy from Facebook. I'm going to let the code we copy from Facebook. Okay, this is it. I'm going to tell this code, this normal Facebook login page, that when we click on login, which action should we perform? The action should be calling our script. The action should be calling our script. What does our script say? What does our script say? Let me go there. Did I save that? Okay. This part. Okay, this is our script. Our script is saying, let me put them side by side. Okay. Okay. So this is the Facebook code we copied, and this is our script. On every web page or every form, there is always the action. What should they do? When on click, what should they do? Action. What should they do? So let's look for that action. And do Control F and look for action. People, let's find it. Okay. Look at it here. The first action you see is telling you action. Okay. Look at it. Action equal, see what I call parent script. That is the action I want you to perform. Let's go back to Facebook, to the normal browser. This is the normal Facebook unedited. Let's view the page source, action. Okay, see what is there. See what is there. They have their own. I just changed this to call my script. Theirs is calling something I don't know. It's their code. I don't know about their code. But I know they are trying to compare if your credentials you enter, the credentials you enter are correct. They are just basically trying to do their maths to check if you are the user or you are the authorized user of that. If the password and the username match. So I'm going to remove this, which I have done that, and put my script first. The name of my script, that on action, and click. What should it do? It should call my script. What does my script do? My script to execute this and redirect to the normal Facebook page. I'm trying to redirect to the normal Facebook page so that the user of this, the person trying to enter this, trying to use this my phishing page will not know what is happening, because I've redirected the person to the normal Facebook page. Even if it doesn't log in, the person will say, oh, but my browser, my URL is correct. What's the problem? The person will try to log in again. So the only thing we need to do is to create this script, copy this code from Facebook directly, and input your script name here. That should be all. You can go to a browser and access it. I'm sure you should be having your local host or your server running. You can put them, if you are using XAMPP as a server, you can put them inside your XAMPP and run it. So let's run this script. Let's run the Facebook, which is our phishing page. Okay. Just refresh it. Okay, this is our phishing page. This is not Facebook. This is not real Facebook. You can check, you can see from here. So you can enter a username and a password. Which username and password should we enter? Any suggestion? That you make sure it's coming from you and you saw it somewhere.
Any random one will go.
Okay. Let me write random at gmail.com. The password can be random 123. The password is random 123. See what happens when I log in. See, look at this URL and look at this. Login. I clicked on login. Who understands what happened?
Collected the base information you entered in those input dialog boxes and saved it in that your txt file, but later redirected after executing what you wanted it to execute.
Yeah, to the normal. Okay. Let me use Windows. No, this is not Windows. Let me use Windows and perform the same. Let me use Windows and perform the same stuff. Let me start my server so that we see. I want us to see something. This is a server. It's just like for those who don't know about XAMPP, it's just like it's just like a hosting server, like how you host your website on Namecheap, GoDaddy. You can actually host your website locally on your system. So XAMPP acts as a server. I can just start the services. Starting. So if I go to my local host as well, Facebook. Let's see it. I want us to see it on Facebook. Insta tips, localhost, and Facebook will do. Okay, it has opened, but this is my phishing site, not the Facebook real phishing site. Let me input another. Okay. I'm using two servers now, so let me just input another one. Random at 1234. Random 12. Okay. But look at what happens here. This is window. I've left the first operating system. This is the second operating system. Let me sign in normally to my Facebook account. I want us to see something. If you are already logged in, I want us to see what happens. Okay. If you are already logged in, let's go back to my localhost. Okay, I'm already logged in before accessing this phishing script. So let's see what happens. Let me type testing at gmail.com. And the password should be testing. Okay, I'm already logged in naturally or normally, and I'm trying to access a phishing script without knowing. And they prompted me to sign in again or to log in again. Once I log in, see what happens. It redirects to normal Facebook because you were logged in already. In that case, you can never know that you're accessing a phishing script. So that's the point I'm trying to bring out here. So let me go back to my former operating system. Now let's see if the password the person entered is there or not. Let's check. So we are going to check this file. This is the file we said. Collect the password, save it into this file, and redirect this page to normal Facebook. You can do cat rents and store activity. Let me do it on this other server. Okay, this is the file. The last two I just entered, I don't know if you've seen it. Look at the last two I just entered. Why this one did not, I still have to check it. Maybe one of my codes has an issue, but this one, the one on my Windows, was coded correctly. And this is what we had. The two entries I put. The random 1234 and the random 12, and also the testing. So this is basically phishing attack. So you may be wondering, how will you have your user to sign up to this page? There are several ways in which your attacker can sign up to this, can log in using this page. If you're on the same network, you can give the person your IP address / Facebook, the IP address of your system / Facebook. Attacker will log into it. There are so many ways. You can actually upload this script, everything here. Upload it to a server, an online server like GoDaddy. Just do it as if you're creating a website and send the link to people using you can even send the link using a fake email, pretending as if you are Facebook, and maybe you are telling the person you have something, you need to check it now, all those Facebook messages. When the person clicks on it, it opens that phishing script, that phishing page, and the person has to sign.
I hear you.
So there's another way you can go around it using the person's computer. If you're on a person's computer and you want that person to sign in using that your phishing site, you want that person to sign in, you can go to the person's host file and modify it. So let me show you how we can modify our host file. Go to Facebook. Let's try to modify our host file and see what happens. Let's get the location of host file. Who knows where host file is located on Windows? Okay, this is the location of host file. This host file contains it's like your DNS, if you know what DNS is. If you type maybe facebook.com, your browser first of all checks your DNS to see, I know where facebook.com lives. Use this IP address, you get to facebook.com. So we're going to manipulate this host file. It's also called DNS poisoning. If you look at this, the second thing we have is about DNS poisoning. You can use DNS poisoning to change the host file so that person who has that computer, anything gets to it, and you see how it works. This is the host file. Windows System 32 drivers, etc. Let's go there. Windows System 32. Drivers.
Terence, you need to go back. You need to go back by one. You're in program files.
System 32.
Yeah, go to Windows, yeah. Then just type
System 32.
No, enter Windows first.
Okay, Windows.
Then System 32 now. Yeah, that's it. Then you go to drivers. D.
Drivers
etc. etc. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it there. etc.
Okay,
that's the host file.
Host file. It's a host file. What you should do is you should not temper that file anyhow. You can copy it to maybe your desktop, edit it from here. Then probably Notepad. Okay. Let's look at all of this. All of this. Okay, you can come come here and say, okay, the IP address of your laptop, or if you're in a network, you should be in a network though. You can, okay, the script is here. Let's do it on this same system. The IP address of my system is anything. This is the IP address of my system. Let me say 192.168.43.253. 253. Two, 5, 3. You're telling the computer to get to this IP address, to get to local host / Facebook, use this IP address. I hope it's clear. Let me just make sure the format is correct. It's always the same in any operating system. You just want to check the format. Okay, to get to this IP address, to get to this website, use the IP address this. So our format is correct. Format is correct. We can save it, close it. Okay, this is it. And then we can paste it here. Override that one. Okay. I've not edited it well. I have to go back there. What we are trying to do is to get to facebook.com. We are not going to get to www.facebook.com. We are trying to trick the computer that getting to this, it should take this. Yes, let's try this. Let's try this. Okay. So let's see how we can get to facebook.com again. Okay, I think my browser is still caching it. But we are going to come back to this. Maybe by then, I don't want to clear my caches because I have so many things on it. My browser is caching it. It's taking old information
Try to load your browser in
on it.
private mode. Control Shift N.
So let me go to let me go to let's go to facebook.com. Still giving us this. Let me try something different.
Okay.
Okay, to go to facebook.com, let's use Google's IP address here. Let's get Google's IP address to use it for the DNS poisoning.
So let's ping Google, right?
Yes, no, I just want to get the IP address of Google. NS lookup will give us the IP address, which is this. Copy. Paste. As saved. Control copy and paste. Okay, so this is just DNS poisoning. Open another one, and we said to get to www.facebook.com. Still opening it. I don't know why, but this is how it is done.
Terence, I think the IP comes before the exact domain.
See the formats here. What they give us.
Yeah, the format shows the IP first.
Okay, I use the name first. Okay, that should be the issue. The format is saying IP first before domain. Okay, yes, that's not what I wrote. The way this thing is, there are so many things you cannot carry on your head, but you have to know how it is being used, know how to research it and get it. That's fine. Okay, let's try this. To get to facebook.com, use this IP address. Let's see what happens.
I'm coming.
Still
I'm sir.
doing something different.
Somebody's
Something different. Anyways, we're going to come back to it, but that is basically DNS poisoning. You can change your DNS such that if you can change the DNS of any computer such that if that computer is trying to access a website, you tell it no.
You did not update host file. That's why it's not working.
What?
You are working on desktop. You did not upload host file. You are copying and pasting.
Yeah, this is the host file.
On your desktop, not on the right path.
Yeah. I saved it, then copied it.
You didn't copy it. That's just saved.
So I'm pasting it again to where the host file is located. So, okay, if you want to try again, Okay, it's gone now, but your browser is warning you. There's something fishy. Because my firewall is on. I want to click on continue. Where was I? Yes, let me open it again. Once. I'm trying to skip this step. Trying to skip this. I'm giving me the option to. Well, this is DNS poisoning. You can see the way it has actually changed everything. It's not going to facebook.com anymore. It's now trying to go to something different. Maybe we'll go back to that another time, but let's run up with what we have. Okay, this is the third. We are done with this. I don't know if we have any question on this, or I should continue with this first.
You can continue. You can have questions later.
Okay, so we are going in for this now. Brute forcing any computer system to get the password and the username. I'm going to be doing that with my Kali and Kali Linux, which this is it. It's my Kali Linux. It's my Kali Linux, and I'm going to brute force into a server I installed for one of my projects. This is the server. It's shut down now, but let me turn it on. I have I'm using virtual. I'm running them on virtual machines, so I actually have 4 different operating systems. Let me turn it off so that we can brute force. Brute force actually means trying a password or username multiple times. You don't know the password, but you are trying other combinations of passwords and username multiple times, called brute force. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to automate it, because we cannot be running that all the time ourselves. So we need to automate it. Okay, this is a server installed using CentOS. Okay, this is the server. It's quite different from my Kali Linux. This is my Kali Linux. This is my server. It's a full-blown operating system on its own. You can actually do any other thing Kali Linux is doing. So this is my server. It's on. Let's go back to our attacker, which is Kali Linux. Okay. Okay, we're going to be using a tool. There's one common tool for brute forcing. That tool is known as Hydra. It comes pre-installed with Kali Linux. You can use the web interface or you use the command line interface, but I don't really like the web interface. I don't know why, but it's easier. See the web interface. I mean, the graphical user interface. Sorry, it's easy, but I learned it using command line, so I prefer that. Now, let's assume we don't know the password of on the password and the username of this our computer. Let's assume we don't know it. It's my computer, I know it, but you don't know it. So we're going to get the password using Hydra, the password and the username, and we log it in to make sure it works. So what we are going to do is we need to know the IP address of that computer. We need to know the IP address of that computer. So let's check the IP address. If config will give us the IP address, okay. This is the IP address. Let me copy it. Okay. Assuming we don't have the IP address of this computer and we cannot enter it, check it. You can also, from your attacking computer, use other tools to check it. You can use the app -A to get all the computers connected to your network. To get all the computers connected to your network. Okay, we know my own IP address on this attacking system is config. This is my own IP address. Let's not consider this is for my NAT. I'm using virtual machine, so let me show you the one to use. Yes, this is the one my machine is using to ping locally. I'm using NAT, so this is for my NAT. This is the one I'm using to ping locally. So, assuming you don't know the IP address of the attacking machine, but you know your IP address, just use app -A in every network you are. You see all the computers connected to it. Now, this you can actually, a hacker doesn't really, most times the hacker doesn't really have a particular target, but we have a group of targets. You can still decide to go through this one by one. Or if you already know that, okay, there are just two people in the network, you can actually say, okay, if this is this is this is usually the router address, and this other one should be that of the computer, or this one. So you can actually take them one by one to do it. But let's start with this one. You have to into this system with this IP address, and that IP address is still the same IP address we've seen on this. So you can just go for it. Go for it. You have to use Hydra. When using Hydra, you need to have this brute force. You brute force among used passwords and username, suspected passwords and username of files you've created or you may download online. There are so many password files and username files you can use. There's one particular one in that comes with Kali Linux. It's called RockU. Let's see if you can locate it.
Sure, it's not high.
I have to tell him people get on the umbrella.
No.
You know that card is
This way.
I
I know it. Kali Linux has it, but maybe I don't know the directory, even though I used to use it. Let's locate it online. Location. RockU, I know it's called RockU. I told you don't need to know everything. User share word list. Don't need to know everything, but you need to have an idea of how it is done. This you need it. So user share word list. Let's see raw queue here. This raw queue file contains millions. It's the most sophisticated password and username combination file on the internet. They update their password, their file, the data in this file almost every 15 minutes or so automatically. So if you keep updating your system, apt-get updates, make sure you will always make sure this file is up to date. So then let me open this file. Let's see what happens. Cat raw queue. Let's see the size of that file. Cat raw queue. You can't even follow it. As you see it like this, it's jumping. It's going to take a long time to stop. I have to tell you the number of options we have in this file. It's going to take a long time to stop. So I can just stop it here because I know it's going to take a very long time to stop. Let's just stop it. So the format of using Hydra is Hydra. The format of using Hydra, if you already know, for example, you want to hack maybe you want to hack a computer or a web interface where you already know the username. You can use minus small l and put the username, maybe admin. You already know the username. You just want to check the password. So you want to put forth the password. Use minus l. It should be small l. Then admin is for the username, because you already know it. You can just put it there to save time. And use minus p, capital P. If you don't know it and you need to use a file for it, you can say minus p raw queue. That file. This file contains so many passwords. This is the basic command of how to use Hydra. But also, some servers don't allow multiple attacks at a time. Some servers do not allow multiple attacks at a time. They are going to stop your attack. So we can use the minus T and give it maybe 3 or 4 attacks at a time. It's going to send it 3 or 4 threats or attack at a time. Minus T, 3 or 4, and you specify the port. Most servers have SSH port open. Most servers have SSH ports open. Most servers. So let's say you don't know if a port is open on a computer. This is the command to use Hydra. This is basically the command, no other thing. Just specify the username. If you need to use a file for the username like this work, you use here capital L as minus capital L, then put the file here .txt. This is basically the command. I'll run it and you'll see the way it's going to attack our system. This is our server here. And get the password for us and username. So let me show you. Let's assume we don't know which port is open. A port is just like a loophole and a hole on a server where you can just a port is just like holes that have leakage in a bucket of water. You can from there and put something into the water or into the bucket. So it's just like a port. And those ports the server uses it to communicate. So let's see nmap, paste that IP address of the server we want to attack. We want to check which ports are open. on the computer. So you can use Nmap. It's just like Nmap is a network scanner, a network map. Okay. See, it's telling us SSH is open. RPC bind is also open. You can use this port to hack into that system. That's why you don't need to open ports and leave them anyhow. There's another tutorial I can show you how you enter a Windows computer using its open ports and actually do anything you want to do. Begin the session using command line. But for now, let's use SSH port. It's showing you it's open in this system and the port is 22. Now, I'm not going to use that raw queue file. I'm not going to use it because it's too large. It's too large. It's going to take time to complete. It's too large. You can use it if you want to have maybe an online server and maybe you don't want to waste you don't know the password. This one, at least I know the password. I can create a smaller file just to show us that it's working rather than using the raw queue file. So let me navigate to my desktop. CD. Let me show you something. CD. Okay. I've created two files here. I've created two files here. Password.txt and username.txt. I'm going to cut both of them. Let's see what we have inside. Okay. I've opened both of them. This ends here. The password.txt ends here. This is what we have in the file. We can add them if you want. And username.txt is this. From here. From root. I hope you are following.
Yes.
Okay. This is password.txt. I just cut both of them. Let me do it one by one so that we can see. This is the password.txt and this is username.txt. Username.txt. Okay, so these are the files we have to perform these attacks. Let's just say this person you are performing this attack on is a person you know, somebody you know, and you know this person cannot use this kind of passwords, but the person can maybe use this type of passwords. You know the range of passwords that person can use. You can actually create your own file, like how I've done here, and put those passwords and username you feel that person should be using to save time. So that is basically what I have done now. So we are going to use the Hydra command. Hydra. Just forget about what I've typed before. I was using it to do other things on my own. So Hydra -L, capital L, because we don't know the username. We want to use a file for the username. So I'll use the username file, -P for password, capital P, because we don't know the password. But we want to use a password file. The password file is called, you can see it up here. Password file is called password file. And we enter the IP address of the computer which we found somewhere up where we did this rocky file. Where we stopped this thing. The rocky file is too big. Anyways, let's continue. The IP address which I know I copied this before that time. The time we checked it, and the IP address of that computer system. -T, like I said, we need to specify number of threads, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's always good to make it not more than 5 or not more than 10, so that the server will not say, oh, there's an attack going on. I'm seeing so many threads at the same time, and it may stop it. Firewall may stop your attack. So you can limit our threat to 3 or 4. Let me use 3. And we specify the port. Which port do we say we are attacking?
22.
22, which is SSH. SSH is port 22. If you check this, you see it. It's port 22. Open service SSH. You are attacking that SSH service. So that is just all about Hydra. Enter. So let's see what happens. On previous session, found previous. Okay. It's like it's going. Let's see what happens. Okay, it has gotten something. Gotten this. Still going. You may find other passwords of other users there. Don't know. Let's check. You may actually we have seen one password. It has gotten one password. The login or the username is root, and the password is google.com. It's still continuing to check for other ones. But if you are using the graphical user interface, you can actually set it that stop. The service should stop. This your Hydra should stop when it gets the first password, the first login correctly. You can actually ask it to stop. So I've gotten one. Still going. 3 attacks. The 3 we specified. Max tax 3. We are 1 server. We're attacking just 1 server. Overall attacks 3. 130 logins tries. It has already calculated it to say, okay, based on this our file, you should do a combination. What it basically does is it takes this as username. Takes this as username. Use all these passwords to run it one by one. Takes this as username. Use all these passwords again to run one by one until it exits this loop. That is what Hydra does. Okay, so it has completed. It has done 133 login tries. It has actually done 133 login tries, and we have gotten this. So let's see if this root and this google.com will log into this server. This is the server. Okay. Now you know how this things operate. Username. They have told us username is this, which is already there. So we can put the password. Root is like a hidden username. It doesn't always show always in front. If you've used Kali Linux or you've used Ubuntu or this Debian operating system, root is their default username. So we can now put the password on this. I don't know how I can view this password. Let's see it. Okay, I know what to do. Let me copy it. Paste it there so that we all know I'm not typing anything there. So you see, so we have actually succeeded. We have successfully gotten the password of this system and the username. So you can try this. You can go for any system that has this SSH port open. You can actually use other open ports to do your attack. Several other open ports you can use. Let me check what we have again. Okay. We are going for hacking unsecured websites online database using SQL map. Okay, we're going to try to hack unsecured website database using Nmap, using SQL map. SQL map and Nmap are two different things. SQL map is basically performed. SQL map is just a program. Actually, the main tool we're using there is SQL injection. It's just the technique, SQL injection technique. We're using the SQL map, which is just a program. We're still going to use our Kali Linux. Clear this. And now, your browser itself can do a lot. If you want to do SQL injection, it doesn't go for every database, and it doesn't go for every database. It's for mostly SQL databases, and some SQL databases too are also secured. So with SQL map or SQL injection, you have to look at those unsecured databases. So you can actually use your browser to check for unsecured databases. It should be of this format. Websites with unsecured databases should be of this format. PHP dot PHP is ID. I don't know. Sometimes you open some websites and you see something like maybe google.com slash contacts dot php slash this maybe ID equals to 1. I don't know if you used to see things like this when you open websites. Let's just open this. Now, let me type google.com because you will not get it. Type. Okay, let me just leave this. Let's see if we get anything. Okay, page not found. But the main catch here is you should be having something like this. You should look for websites which have something like this highlighted. PHP ID equals something. With SQL injection, it makes use of this ID to trace the database. So you can just go online and say, okay, PHP ID equal to, and search. You see, we shall see so many other websites which are vulnerable. People have just left their websites open. So to really test if it's vulnerable, what you do is, let's open this. Just open the website to really test if it's SQL injectable. SQL is a database language, sequential language. I believe we're going to learn it in this SQL, this ALX. It's a database language. We're going to learn that programming language soon. Okay. Let's say you open something like this, and what you need to do is, if you see it having this ID equal to something, what you should do is just put a quote, a single quote at the back, and click enter, and observe what happens. Just observe. See if it's going to give you any SQL error, message. Let me open another one. We are looking for vulnerable websites. Sometimes this is just it's not a direct attack. You don't have any server or any website in mind to attack, but you can just go online and look for websites to attack. When you get some, you can actually get some valuable information there, even if you did not plan to get that kind of information. But there are so many things online. When you just go for a source, you can see so many things there that are really interesting. So that's what we are trying to do. You can get the username and password of an account online and do anything you want to do. But I'm not telling us to do it. searching something again. ID. Or okay. Oh, let's check this. Let's check this. Okay. So when you get it, it has ID equal to this. What you should do is just put a single quote at the back and click enter. See what happens if you have any SQL error. It's not, it's not. Okay, look at this. Have you seen this? Warning, MySQL norm rule expects parameter 1 to be reserved, to be resource. William giving in this is an error. Look at how the original website was before we use that. Look at how the original website was. Okay, you see how it was. And what we did was we just added a single quote there, and we found out it is throwing an error. Website doesn't look like a login website, but if you get the information, what will you use it for? Some people may still be interested to get the back end there to know what is going on. So this website, I don't know it, but I have websites which they have given us the go ahead to use. If you want to perform your SQL injection, I don't know it. It's not good if you start injecting people's websites. It's part of our disclaimer. It's not really good. So I have a website here. These websites are injectable. These websites are injectable. You see the website. This is it. This is the website. Let's check if it's injectable. We are going to be using SQL injection on this one. See what happens. Okay, this throws another error. You have an error in SQL, this, that, and that. Okay, so let's go back to our command line and do SQL map. Forget about all these things you see here. I've been doing other things by leisure. SQL map minus U and paste that address we've copied. That website you want to inject. I want to paste this. Paste it. Without this single quote. Yes, just that, and you can take enter. Just SQL map minus U to specify you are pasting there, you are going in for a URL minus U. Let's see what happens. Okay, all these things are important. They are very, very important. The back end DB is MySQL. See, I believe we are going to learn MySQL. As of the time I learned MySQL, I stopped using it because the first website I actually created, I could use SQL injection to get out some information from it. So I stopped using MySQL. I really stopped coding on it. A long time, about 7 years, I've actually forgotten it. So they are telling you the database is MySQL. So that time I just felt like MySQL is rubbish. So what we're going to do now is they've told us the database is MySQL, but what should we do? Let's see the databases. You see minus DBS. minus minus DBS is DB is mostly known as database. Anybody who says my DB is just database. So minus minus databases. This thread option you see here is still the thread we saw in Hydra. If you use thread equal thread 10, that means you want to be running 10 threads in parallel. If your command was supposed to take maybe 10 minutes, it's going to take just 1 minute now because you have actually divided it. It's like you're using internet download manager. It's like you're using internet download manager and you see it's going to split your downloads. So this thread 10 means splits it into 10. Let's run it and see what happens. Okay. See something. It has given us from the databases it has. The website has these two databases. This information schema is not the database of the website. It's not the mean that this information schema is just to save information about other things, not the database or the website. If you're into web development, anytime you enter your database, you always see from default databases like this. This should be the actual database of the website. So now we have seen the database. Let's enter inside the database. We have seen the database. We use minus D because we've gotten the database. Type the database name. What? Then we need to get the table. The database is let me open something to make people who are not so familiar with databases to understand how it really is. Permit me to open my Corel Draw and I want to just some small sketches so that people who are not familiar with databases will know how it operates and how the commands are going. Okay, paint is here. Okay, a database, mostly known as DB. This is my writing. DB contains tables. The database contains tables, as I'm calling it tables. The tables has tables. Maybe this first table is for user. This first table is for user. Let's call it U. This one can be for maybe pictures. This is where you save all your pictures. Let's call it P. And another database for what do we call this? Let's just call it anything. Menu. The database has all of these tables. It has anyone you say, okay, I need my database to have this, need to have this. Okay. So users now should have, user is a table. The table has many columns. You can create a table should have columns, divided into columns. Inside this column, maybe a table is for users. Let's call it user. You have user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. Maybe this you have picture 1 or maybe picture category 1, category 2, category 3. Inside this user 1 now, inside this user 1, you also have the values of this user 1. Maybe user 1 should have, like how we do a structure in C, data structure. User 1 should have maybe username, user email, user phone number, anything about the user, just like we have in structure. This is how databases are arranged. This other user 2 can have all those things too. Picture, that is how databases are arranged. So what we are trying to do is, we just enter this database, we have found the tables it has, or we have found the database it has, we have entered one of it. Let's go ahead. We've gotten the database, has the name, minus tables to list the tables for us. Then minus that thread, run it in parallel. Right? 9 if you wish. Okay, it has gotten the tables. It has an artist table, a cat table. That means on this website they sell things. I don't know what this is, but the person creating the database knows what this is because he gave the name. Like you're giving a variable name: featured, get book, pictures, products, and all the like, or everything. But if you are going into a database, and if I'm going into a database, I'm particular about the user table. Because that is where I know most people will save their users. Any user who signs up on the website have his information saved on that table. So I'm going to enter this user because that's if I enter artist or cat, what am I doing with it? I need the user. Let me become maybe the admin of the website. Let me become maybe the admin. So what I'm going to do is I pick up. I've gotten the tables. The table I need for minus T because of table database is minus D. The table name is user. I did this thing before because I was testing the database. That's why you see all these commands coming up. Table name is users. Minus users. Like I explained before, using pins. Every table has columns. These are columns. Every table has columns. It depends on the way you use it, but every table should have columns. Minus columns. That's on that table. I want to list out. I want to bring out the columns. Minus thread, just to make it faster. I put 5 number 4. Okay, this inside the user table, this is what we have inside user table. We have addresses, we have card, is okay. I'm even since credit cards, it's just like maybe your credit card details or something. Email, name, pass is supposed to be password, I think. Phone should be phone number and username. So we can actually go into it again. If you have entered a table already, a column already, a column is not, it doesn't have any further division, which has a known name. So if you enter a column and you've seen everything in a column, you can just use minus dump to print out what those columns hold. So you've seen the column we need. You can actually use minus C, to be capital C. You can print out maybe your name, print out the password. What can we need? We need maybe the email, but again, maybe the phone, and maybe CC. Then, if you need that information, then that's the final information. Use minus dump. It's just like, just give me what we have there. Just bring out what we have there. So we are running that, and let's see what we have. This is a credit card. It was on the website. This is what is there. This is the phone number or the phone, the email, the password, and the username on that website. So let's use this password and this username and see if we can log into that website. I have internet. Let me check if I have internet. Wow, I don't have internet. Okay, let's check if we can log into that website. Let me just go to my host machine. If my network on the other side has disconnected, let's just check if we can log into there. Copy the website address. I don't know why my network here just left me. It has come back. My network has come back. Okay. So this is the website. Let's see if we have any login page around. Your profile. Okay, sign up. I've seen sign up. I've also seen sign up. I've also seen login. So we saw the password as test. And the username as test and password as test. So you see, don't save. I've logged in. The person is John Smith. John Smith. Credit card number, email, address, all those things we didn't even print, but at least what we needed was this. So you can actually, if this is an, if there was an admin, you could also see that admin on that this place. You could also see the admin. For this website, unfortunately, maybe it just has just one user, and maybe it can still be the admin. Or if there was any account named admin, you could still see it here. Maybe the second column of this will be admin and other things. So that should be the fourth one, and that should be all for now. So I would like to take questions as many as possible. Hello, are we there?
Yes, you don't blow my head. Oh. Yes, so.
Okay, so I'd like to take questions as many as possible. No questions?
Okay, Mr. Terence, thank you. Thank you. So for the SQL injecting, so does it work on other databases too, apart from the one that was created with the SQL?
As you see the name SQL injection, I've been trying it only with SQL databases. And before I even try, I will check if it's SQL injectable. So maybe I think it's only with MySQL. It works only with MySQL, because by the time you start trying to inject it, they'll tell you back end DBMS, that database management system, is MySQL. If it's actually injectable, they'll tell you this. So it means, that's why I told you I left MySQL. I left it because by the time I knew they could perform attacks like this, I felt like it was very weak. Now that I know that there are ways to actually secure it, but not everybody is securing it. Like this one now, it was not secured. There are so many which are not secured.
Hello, Mr. Terrence.
Yeah.
How do we tell if it is injectable?
That's why I was using this as an example. Go, if you get the website, for example, this is what I got online. Just put single quote and take enter.
Okay, so if it throws up an error, that means it is injectable.
That means it is injectable.
Okay, but if it does not throw the error,
it is not SQL injectable, but there are other means, other ways in which you can get to the database, but not using SQL injection. This tutorial is for SQL injection.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question?
Yes. This ARP, this MS lookup.
NS lookup, yes.
Was it NS or MS?
NS lookup.
Oh, my bad. No wonder I tried it. It didn't give me.
NS lookup is going to just NS lookup any IP, any name, any domain name is going to give you the IP address of that server. So you can actually use the IP address and do, even if it's a distributed DDoS, you can do it, distributed service. You can prohibit anybody attacking that server. Just prohibit anybody attacking that server to not to attack it, or not to anybody accessing the server not to access it. You can delay it.
So you can prohibit the person from accessing it.
What?
You mean you can prohibit the person from accessing the given server?
You can delay. Yeah, you can delay it. You can delay it. Like for example, maybe next time I'm going to do a tutorial on access point. That one has so many things. If there's an access point here, you can actually disconnect everybody from the access point without connecting to it. You can disconnect everybody on the access point. Everybody is connected to it without connecting to it. So I used to use on my own. I used to use that sometimes to let someone to give me his or her password. I'll just disconnect everybody and leave it to run continuously, and nobody will be able to connect again. I'll tell them, if you don't give me, no problem. Nobody will connect. They'll think it's a joke, but nobody will be able to connect.
Okay.
That's what I used to do sometimes. Yeah, any other question? Was anybody recording the class? Was anybody recording it? Okay, no problem.
I gave Francis once because
I think Mr. Akompi said he was recording it.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So, any other question?
I guess we need to first play and then we can bring in the questions later.
What?
Because right now, if we don't try up, we may not know which one is not working for us.
I didn't hear you clever.
Like I'm saying, to bring up the questions would require us to first try to practice what we just saw. Then where we feel things are not working out is the questions when they arise.
Okay. But yes, that's also good. But if there is any, maybe you need better clarification, like your name, clever. You have understood everything already, like your name sounds.
Yeah, so far I'm good.
Then Mr. Terence.
Yes,
So
Mr.
what
Oluwaseun.
do you suggest? Like if you want to have a lasting setup, is it good to go with the mobile or the system?
I use it on my system and I have mobile. Mobile is, for example, if I go out now, I must not take my system. I don't have to take my system every time. And I see something I really need to do. I use my mobile and do it. But system is always better.
Okay.
System is
So I'm
always
just
better.
looking for like a long lasting setup.
The long-lasting setup is your system.
Okay. No problem.
Maybe Torrent,
Yes.
just a quick one.
What?
Don't you think as you're trying those attacks, you're also vulnerable to whoever you're attacking?
As I'm trying it, I'm also vulnerable to whoever I'm attacking. I can be vulnerable if I have not, for example, on my own computer, I have not closed my SSH port, which I used to hack another person. I'm not using that same port to hack that person. I don't understand. Maybe I can close my own, but I'm hacking other person's phone. You understand? So if I'm vulnerable, that means all those things are still left unopened. But I believe anything on the internet can be hacked. Anything at all, no matter how you secure it. Because as you are securing this one, you are opening another thing. So long as it's connected to the internet, it can be hacked.
Okay.
So what could be the best way of doing the hacking, but then you're not recognized?
Yes, do it without being recognized. If you use Kali Linux, for example, as no, not Kali Linux. If you are running the operating system, you are hacking the operating system in your virtual machine. That is one option. If you check my IP address now, it's not a public IP address. It changed because of I'm using this my operating system in virtual machine. It's not the real IP address of my my um my computer. It's not the real IP address. Secondly, there's something we call MAC changer. You can actually change your MAC address, the MAC address of your system. You know, MAC address is like IME. You cannot change it. It's like it's inscribed on your device, but there's how you change it virtually. You can use that in open access points. If somebody is browsing now on an open access point, you can use MAC changer, change your MAC address to that person's MAC address. Then spoof that is called spoofing. You remove the person out of that network which is his browsing. Then you will now be using that session where he was using to browse to get internet. But you don't have the password, you don't have anything. Just remove that person, use his MAC address as yours. Then you have internet automatically.
Okay, Mr.
So you
Terrence.
can change your MAC address and it's another way to hide yourself.
Mr. Terrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was even about to ask, is there a way we can hide our IP address before running a hacking session?
It's similar to the question somebody just asked now. How do you hide yourself? Hiding yourself is hiding your IP address. If you're running it in virtual machine, like I am, your IP address is not seen because what is seen is something different because you're running it behind another system.
Okay.
On virtual machines, you don't connect directly to the internet. You use this NAT to connect to the internet, and the IP address behind the virtual machine is different from the one on your machine.
Okay. That's noted.
I don't know if you don't understand. Let me show you an example. Look at my computer here. This config. Let me show you my IP address. Okay. There's something. Look at this IP address now. I'm not using NAT here. I'm using bridge. When using bridge, you can be detected. It's going to give you an IP address similar to that of your router's IP address. This is 43. You see it here. So had it been I changed my router IP address, had it been I used NAT. I used NAT here. This is NAT. Okay. You can do if config again to see if that's refreshed. Okay. I think this I don't know if this is it, but if you just look at it now, you no longer see that 43 dot something.
Yeah,
You no longer see it anywhere. I'm not sure it's there. But if you look at my main operating system, CMD, this is my main operating system where I'm running virtual machines. Let's check the IP address which I'm using to connect to the internet. Config. Look at the IP address. This is the IP address which I'm using to connect to the internet. This is the IP address which my virtual machine is using. That this my virtual machine has created, my virtual box or VMware has created its own network and it's now using NAT to go to this internet. So it's hiding this IP address. Somebody out of my network will not be able to see this IP address. You'll be seeing this one, but this is not the machine performing the attack. So that's one way of hiding the IP address.
Okay, that's noted. Yeah, please.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
Please, this Nmap. You said
Nmap.
What really is its
Nmap is just like a network scanner. You can scan a network. You can scan an IP address.
Okay, for scanning. Okay.
Yes, Nmap. Just going to tell you, maybe if you are scanning an IP address, just going to tell you ports which are open, just tell you things about it. Or you can start navigating.
Something that. Thank you.
Any other question?
Okay, I just want to add something.
Okay.
So concerning the question of how to make yourself invisible. So I saw a video where the guy was mentioning that we can use multiple servers, remote servers.
Multiple hosts.
Yes, multiple
to
hosts.
attack,
So
okay.
if they trace it, they will get to the first host. Then by the time before they do all the documenting and everything, they log. They will go back. You can use like three hosts. So before it becomes like an endless loop before they can actually go out of the loop. They will not even be able to do so.
That's what when I talked about distributed denial of service, DDoS, that is actually distributed denial of service because you can use all those several machines to maybe send ICMP packets, ping, just normal ping. You see this ping now, it's very powerful. Ping.google.com. It's very powerful. Imagine millions of computers are sending this ping packet. It's heavy, this ping packet to a server. Imagine millions of computers are doing this to a server continuously. It's going to make maybe the 1,000,001 person not to access that server, maybe in the normal, maybe in a faster way. It's going to be very slow. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That is just a layman's way or the easiest way to describe distributed denial of service. All these packages now, I'm sending this thing, I'm pinging google.com. Google.com is replying to me. that yes, I'm receiving your packets, I can connect with you. 1 million other people are sending this packet continuously as it's going continuously like this. Google.com, the server will also be replying all of them. So it will get to a point where it can no longer reply fast. It's going to be very slow. Even when you look at your terminal, as you see this one coming one after the other, one will come and before the next one comes, it's a problem. At that point, anybody who tries to access Google.com may not even get what he's looking for. That's distributed denial of service. There's also one tool people used to use, even though I don't really like it. It's called social engineering toolkit. It's actually easy. They've made it easier for us. You can use it to do so many things. For example, social engineering toolkit, I can take social engineering attacks, web attacks. Maybe I take credential harvester. It's phishing. Site cloner. I can clone the site, and they will tell me to enter the site which I want to clone. IP address for the go there again. They're asking me the IP address of my IP address. Let me open another tab. Just want to show you something quick. This is my IP address. My IP address. Let's just do something quick. Enter the URL you want to clone. Let's say, let's take Facebook. Facebook.com. If you want to attempt my patch was on. Okay, see this kind of phishing. This one is I've really finished with the phishing. This one needs the person to access your IP address. So if I send my IP address now to somebody, let's say I send my IP address to you to open it. Here's the IP address and open it. See what happens. Do you see what happened? See what happens, right? Let me make this two side by side my this is also a phishing attack. Okay, this is Facebook. I've used my IP address to open Facebook, and this is a site cloner. That thing we did before using phishing for phishing attack. This is another one. This one is even easier, but you cannot really access this one out of this network. Let me enter something like good day at gmail.com. I've cloned this site. This is not a real Facebook site. I just cloned it with this short thing I've done now. Google.com. Enter. You see, once I press enter, what happened? This terminal changed. So let me maximize it. Let's see the information they gave us. It's going to show us, it's supposed to give us the password I just entered somewhere. So we can look for it. Okay. Have you seen it? Did you see it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Wow. Password. This It's a layman's kind of phishing attack. That's how I see it. Because you cannot give me an IP address and I'm opening your IP address and seeing something. That one is too vague. But it's rather better if okay, for example, if you are there now, I can't give you my IP address. You will not open because you are not in the same network as I am. I don't know if you are getting the point. You can't ping my IP address from where you are now. My IP address is a private IP address. You can use this attack if you are in a network. Maybe you are in your office. You want to get your colleague's Facebook, or you people are in a Wi-Fi. You want to get the person's Facebook. You can just use this attack. Just use this. Sharp. You don't clone everything. This is the page. So anytime you want to run this attack again, you have to still do this thing again on this terminal. You have to do everything. But the one we did before, where we created a script and created the Facebook and got the code from Facebook, you don't need to run any command. Once you finish and you upload it on your server, anybody who wants to access that site, just access it at once. So that is another form of phishing attack. Any other question? Or should I repeat this phishing attack again? This one is quite easy.
Yes. Repeat this one.
I can repeat this one again. This one is quite easy for a start, but what is going on behind it is what we have done already on that other side. So let's repeat this one again. Clear my terminal. This is social engineering toolkit. You can, if you have Kali Linux, let me leave it at Kali Linux. That's what I mostly use. You can install it there, or you can clone the repository, add it to your environment, so that when you type C toolkit, I think it comes with Kali Linux. If you have it either on phone, the Net Hunter, or your system, comes with it. C toolkit, enter. It's going to open up like this. Social engineering, all these things are attacks, all of them. We have to start from somewhere. Social engineering attack is one. Pick one. Web attack vector. You are going for web attack. Google is a web attack. That is it. Credential harvester. You are harvesting the person's credentials. Like harvest, you are getting the person's credential, which is phishing. You didn't just put it there, phishing attack. Select it. All of these things you are seeing attack. Site clone, and that means you want to clone a website for the attack. That is two. They are asking you to put the IP address of your server. This is your machine now, so that person will punch in his or her IP address. Put in my IP address. The person will punch in this IP address to get it. They're asking now the URL you want to clone. Which URL should we clone? Which website should we clone? LinkedIn. Should we go for LinkedIn? Yeah. Which URL should we clone?
Let's try LinkedIn, as you said.
Let's try Taylor and Taylor.
What?
TaylorLondon.com.
Taylor, is your spelling, please?
Yeah, like
this?
Normal Taylor.
Taylor, like Taylor who's
T-A-Y. Yeah.
T-A-Y?
No, not this type. T-A-Y. Yeah. L-O-R. Then I Taylor again.
Taylor. .com.
Yeah, London.com. London.
London.com.
Yes.
Taylor London.
Yeah, London.com.
London.com. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like your web server can't bind this. You want to attempt to say, I have my Apache running, that's why they're giving me this. I have my Apache running for my web server. I use it for my web server. That's why they used to give me this most often. So I'm going to go again. Credential harvester 3. Going to paste the IP address. Taylor.
Yeah. No, why? Yeah.
I don't know what this site is, but it looks heavy. It's coming. It's going to clone it, but it looks heavy. Web attack module is Java. Okay, you see, I'm seeing a limitation of this attack now. It's skipping that website. I don't know why it's not running it.
Let me give you another one now.
Okay, fine. I don't know why it's not running that, but it's skipping it without any error message, nothing at all.
Maybe the site is too heavy.
Wait, let me come. Close it. Let me start another one. Pasting the IP address. Okay, give me another one, please.
Okay. And www dot Sunsolar 8.
Eh?
Sunsolar 8. Yes, Sunsolar 8.
Solar
8.
8. As in, am I spelling
Dot
the 8
com.
or I'm putting 8? Am I spelling
Yes.
the 8 or I'm putting 8?
Yes, just leave it like that. .com.
Okay, this one is running through. Let's see. I want to check that Taylor. Let me see what is the problem. Let me check it on my website, on my web interface. Taylor what? Okay, London. That IP address. Okay. You want to disable Apache? Running Apache. Okay, are you running Apache or is it asking something? This is doing the same thing. That is doing the same thing. Let me try something. Let me try Google this thing, Gmail. Let me just say Gmail and see what happens. Most often, why I don't like this is most often when it happens like this, see, it's happening even for the ones you can clone. Most often when it happens like this, I have to restart my system. Maybe that's why that Taylor is not going. Most often when it happens like this, I will have to restart my system for doing it. Okay, that's why I don't really like this one. Let me just try Facebook again and see. See, I'm retrying Facebook again. I want to know why it's giving me all those errors. Most often I used to restart my system before I can do it. You see, even Facebook itself is not going. So that means maybe if I restart my system, that's solar Taylor will work. Taylor should work. But let me take questions if we have any other question. Why I trying to restart my system? Do the Taylor.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay. Ask your question while I restart my system. I have to restart it and run that
Okay.
Taylor. I need to run that site.
How do we hack Wi-Fi, like Wi-Fi, getting the Wi-Fi logins?
That one should be a class for another day, but you can, if you want to go to Google and check it, you can use check the commands airplay, airmon, aerodom. Just check these three commands, you can combine them and do the attack. Airplay, aerodom, airmon, ng, all of them minus ng. There are so many ways, but we'll have another class for that. Any other question? While my system is starting, I want to do that Taylor London. Mr. Humble, are you there? Okay, I'm going to do that Taylor now. Let me know what's the reason for it not cloning. Asking for the IP address is config. Okay, so I've pasted the IP address. Set support with this IP address. Taylor London.com. My internet connection is down. Make sure my internet connection is working. My internet connection is down. It's going to come up. It's just because it's virtual machine. Most often it used to delay. But I want to run that teller. I'm interested in it.
Okay.
Connection should be.
Hello, Mr. Terrence. Hello, Mr. Terrence. Hello, Mr. Terrence. Hello, Mr. Terrence. Can you hear me?
Hello? Somebody was saying something.
Yes. I said I've tried using the SC toolkit in my Kali Linux interface, but it's throwing up errors.
Which error did it?
It's saying command could not be found.
See, no space, right?
Yeah, SE toolkit.
Just type apt -get install SE toolkit. Let's see.
Okay. That is apt.
I don't know why my internet connection is down, but I'm going to fix it. It's not really down as per se. I can ping this, but I can't. That's what happens with virtual machine. Using virtual machine can be so. It's pinging. Can't resolve this. And even if I open it on my, it's not going to do anything because it can't resolve that name. Okay. I know what to do. I'm not going to use breach. This is what happens with virtual machine. Okay, I'll chat you privately on this when I resolve my network issue about the teller stuff. But for now, if you don't have any other question, we can end the class. Hello, Luwasin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, I don't know if you have any other question to say.
Okay. So normally it's just I know this comes more by practice, and practice. So by the time we start getting it, we
Okay.
get used to it.
It has started actually. Okay, you can keep saying what you want to say. Let me do what I have to do.
Okay. So the basic thing is just to practice. So as I would get familiar, then learn new methods and all those things. So that's one major thing that I just see about uh, and hacking and every other thing in that line. So we keep learning, keep applying, and then we keep advancing in the act, such that the time will come, normal things that are like very big will become very, very simple, and then we just see that we are able to make those things as fast as possible. So I just know that there are lots that we can actually do. So that's why things like this are they are, at least you need to know. You need to know you are getting to the machine age, the age of the robot. I know the time is still coming that it will be robots that will be programmed to be hacking people's people's details